So, hello everybody, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the Vice President of Space Renaissance International, Sabine Heinz. And she's going to, and also the Vice Chair of ITACCUS Committee. And she's gonna talk us about art in space. So, Sabine, the floor is yours. And please tell us a bit more about you before starting with the lecture.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for this nice introduction. I'm gonna to talk about why art in space because I'm an artist living in Berlin, and I'm really happy that art has found its way into this society and lately to other space-related societies too. And I think we can inspire each other and in different ways. Where can I move the slides? Next slide. Okay. Um, yeah, you see the moving of the picture there, and yeah, simply next slide. Yeah. Uh, I'm talking about why art in space. If you think art is useless, try to spend your quarantine without music, books, poems, literature, and games. Art is very diverse, and we encounter it in the most varied levels in our everyday lives, just like science and politics. Even if people are not interested in, they are nonetheless constantly subject to its influence. On the artist level, it's mainly design, music, literature, and games. And in the field of science, it's many things that we use for granted, or as matter of today, yeah, today of matter of course, such the internet and the smartphone. But not only the media such as radio and television, also many other everyday products that we use every day are results of decades of research and their technical implementation. Yeah. The coronavirus has changed our organizational structures worldwide, and it has also positive aspects. New technologies have received a boost out of the need to maintain communication structures. This can also be an opportunity because digitization has entered the world in a new dimension. Elements will find their way into art, be it as artificial intelligence, which is really already taking place, or in 3D printing, video technology, or other electronic forms. Entire new art formats will emerge. What can art do what science cannot? The task of art has constantly changed, and it's constantly changing. And even the people of the Stone Age began to depict their environment in visual form. Here's a cave drawing on the picture with the image of the sun. But moon phase drawings were also found, and these are the first evidence of scientific observation. The observation of the stars already played a major role among the ingenious people, partly for religious reasons, but also, or above all, because of the harvest and they were much more connected to nature than we are today. And yeah. The church later used painting to tell the people the story of the Bible because they could largely not read or write. And the rulers used the art to have themselves represented and or to decorate their houses with art and to display their wheels. In art, one is free and not bound to the exactness of science. The artist can use imagination and emotional means to express scientific ideas, hypotheses, and content without having to follow the strict rules of scientific probability. And this makes them understandable in different ways. But not only that, it can be way ahead of his time. Hello. It's nice to see you. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, with his flying machines. Chesley Bonester with his visionary power, also with his visionary drawings, and not to forget science fiction literature. This drawing is not from Chesley Bonester, it's from David Ahari, a British painter, and I really like his artwork, and I hope he will like that I put his picture here, but I found it on Facebook some months ago, and I think it looks very modern, and he drew this when he was 16 years old. And if you look at the latest designs of the of lunar or Mars bases, they are not that far away from this drawing, and he made it 70 years ago. Also you have to see it, yeah. Jack Williamson published the novel Collision Orbit in 1942 under the pseudonym Will Stewart. In it, he formulated the idea of global remodeling of planets by humans and used the term terraforming for the first time. Today, this terminus technicus is in general use and by no means only for the reshaping of Mars and Venus. At this point, I would also like to mention Stanislav Lem, because we are talking about art. It's not only painting, it's literature, music, and games, what I told you. And Lem, considered a brilliant visionary, is considered brilliant visionary and utopian who devised numerous complex technologies decades before they were actually developed. As early as the 1960s and 1970s, he wrote on topics such as nanotechnology, neural network, and virtual reality. A recurring topic of his are philosophical and ethical aspects and problems of technical developments, such as artificial intelligence, human-like robots, or genetic engineering. In many of his works, he used satire and humorous means, often clandestinely exposing human superiority based on belief in technology and science as hubris. Another example of the visionary power of artistic vision is given to us by Galileo Galilei. With his drawings of the moon and Sidereus Nuncius. And since he had an artistic training, he was able to recognize that the shadows and on the surface of the moon were mountains and valleys. He perceived the contrast between light and dark as it were three-dimensional. Here it was a fortunate coincidence that the scientific genius was joined by artistic education and talent. This contrasts with the drawings by Schiaparelli, who saw canals in the surface of the structures of Mars. And this has long been considered the official theory and fueled the idea of life on Mars. Camille Flammarion shows an illustration with channels in his books, in his book Himmelskunde für das Volk. And well, he is showing this drawing in his observations. He do not show any canals as shown here in these pictures in the same book, so it's interesting. And not to forget Johannes Kepler. He's a key figure in the 17th century scientific revolution, best known for his laws of the planetary motion. And he was probably the first science fiction author with his somnium and his description from a trip to the moon. In the Renaissance, many artists were also, scientists were also artists, and they were polymaths. And nowadays, the branches of science are so specialized that there are hardly no polymaths, any polymaths left. We want to think outside the box and again draw the link between art and science. I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream. Vincent van Gogh. It is a dream of mankind. It is a dream of mankind to fly, to go to the universe, and to settle in space. There are model studies, but apart from the ISS and its predecessors, living in space has so far been wishful thinking. And recently, however, attempts to do so have become more and more concrete, not least thanks to advances in space technology. Living in space has so far been thought of in rather functional terms, with a few exceptions, even in science fiction. The environment is metallic, dark, oil drops through the corridors, and drips through the picture, and somewhere Hans Rudolf Geiger's alien scurries through the corridors. An astronaut sitting comfortably on a sofa is almost nowhere to be found. Yet space pioneers were already thinking about how to make themselves as comfortable as possible, at least with the Soviets. The state space company RKK Energia employed Galina Andreevna Baloshava, an architect who was exclusively responsible for the interior design of the space shuttles, and who quickly realized that she had to start from scratch. New questions had to be answered. How do you orientate yourself in zero gravity? Balashova developed a color concept that made it easier to distinguish between floors and ceilings. Yellow for the walls on ceilings, turquoise blue for the front of the furniture, and green for the floor. For the mobile home Soyuz, she designed a sofa, a built-in wardrobe, and a toilet. And for the Mir space station, she designed benches, sleeping accommodations, and cabinets, and for the sake of better mobility, combined the living and technical areas as a unit for the first time. And the concept is still in use for the basis of the ISS. And when the two modules of Soyuz and Apollo coupled together, the Balashova says, because their spacecraft was not orientated towards quality of life, but only towards technical possibilities. When we think about settlement in space, it will be the case that people will leave one day the Earth behind forever. It's the idea, at least. But they will take with them, in addition to the technical equipment, their experiences, their culture, their language, religion, and education. And every astronaut, cosmonaut, taikonaut, or whatever their name is, has taken a mascot into space. And something that reminds them on their home on Earth. And I think so it will be with the people who leave the Earth, for example, to live on the moon, Mars, or an artificial habitat. And they will take their memories, their images, and of Earth, photographs, and other things with them and build on them in their new living space. This is when the Milky Way is settled. Then you see, the structures. Also, these are artworks from me. And a new kind of art and culture will emerge. Perhaps a new form of government, a new legal system, and possibly even new religions. Yeah. And we live today in our world in a world of abundance, and but the resources are limited, and the people who leave the Earth will not find most of it in their new world. Also they have to start from scratch. And they may become painfully aware of the transience, and it's just nice that you have a landscape or a picture or a song what reminds you on your life on Earth. What is space art? So we come to you will make a new record. What is space art? Space art or astronomical art is a genre of modern artistic expression emerging from knowledge and ideas associated with outer space, both as a source of inspiration and as a as a means of visualizing and promoting space travel. And like other, so this is the definition by the AAA, AAA, also for the Astronomical Association for Astronomical Artists. And like other genres of artistic creation, space art has many facets and compasses: realism, impressionism, hardware, sculpture, abstract imaginary, and zoological art. Here you have it here. Astronomical photography and art and space. Art and space is a new topic because they bring art into space. And this is what we want to do. We want to bring art into space. So, wait a moment. Yeah. So, my picture is created under the topic art meets science. So in these pictures, I try to combine scientific content with artistry, but also to use scientific processes and artistically effective manner. And for this, I have employed different techniques. For example, here I worked with acrylic painting and with fluorescent and phosphorescent painting. And if you hit these pictures with UV light, other things became visible. There are two pictures in one, so to say. And if you hit this picture with UV light, the tardigrades appear. And yeah, in April 2019, the Israeli space probe Beresheet crashed on the lunar surface, and it had 1,000 of tardigrades on board, each less than millimeter in size. Normally you cannot see them, but tardigrades belongs to the extremophiles, and they are able to survive in extremely harsh environments, and maybe they live still there, and yeah, you don't know. And here's another example. You see an cosmonaut in space, and but if I hit this picture with UV light, you will see the light pollution on Earth. Light pollution started out small when it was possible through technical inventions to turn nights into days worldwide with enormous positive economical aspects or social effects. But in the meantime, it has become a real problem because it has not only negative influence our biosystem, also this of the humans, but also that of all other living beings. And we sleep less, and the cities, and in the cities we hardly see the starry sky, let alone the Milky Way. And for science of astronomy, light pollution is a disaster. Yeah. And another topic I am dedicated with is the space debris. The ever-increasing amount of space junk is not only a threat to space travel, it also affects optical and radio astronomy. You see here in the hands holding tenderly the Earth, but you see the space junk, yeah, and we have to find a solution for this. This picture gives an imaginative look at how could it look like underneath the icy surface of the icy skin of a watery moon, like Enceladus, or yeah. And yeah, in this picture on the left-hand side, I have pictured bacteria, admittedly oversized again. Yeah, like the tardigrades, they are not so big. But they would also have to be extremophiles who need to endure a cold where it's perpetually dark. And in my pictures, I try to build a bridge between art and science, not only thematically, but also in terms of color technology and color experiments. We would like to use the art platform of SI. This is another example of art meets science as a musician. Rick Wakeman, the title cover is made by myself, and he wrote music for Mars, and is very interested in Mars and gave you a really good interview about Mars. And we would like to use the platform of SRI to present and exchange artistically on an international level. And we would like to enter into dialogue with scientists and all interested people. And this is for me important, with all interested people. And cast our ideas. And yeah, and we have also a Facebook group, Space Renaissance Art Facebook group, in which we interact. And we also started our webinar series. every first and every third Monday at month. And we want to have lively discussions in this. For example, we had Robert Zubrim from the Mars Society in our webinars, and it was really interesting. And we had also Seth Shostak in our webinar series, senior astronomer. Also Robert Zubrim is the president of the Mars Society. Seth Shostak is from senior astronomer from SETI Institute, an institute fellow. And he says, I think I got interested in space and astronomy in the early 1950s when Collier's magazine ran a whole series on how we might go into space. And there were fantastic illustrations of rockets, moon landings, etc. I don't remember the text particularly, but those illustrations changed my life. So he was inspired by art. And he also gave a talk on December 6 at our Space Renaissance Academy webinar series. And it's another bridge that between art and science was built. And he talked about will the aliens have music? And we had a really, really huge discussion. It was really, really nice. I like this. And yeah, and we talked about women in astronomy. This is also a topic what yeah, and of course you are invited to join our webinar series, so every first and third Monday at month. You find it on YouTube, Space Renaissance International. And with our art chapter, we also plan exhibitions, and not only here, we had our third World Congress at Space Renaissance Art. And we have launched at our Space Renaissance Art and Science Festival our project together with the Mars Society and the Planetarium Berlin Foundation. Art goes to Mars. We want to bring art to Mars, and we have here also some flyers. So you can look at our art website, artgoestomars.org. You will find it here. We have launched the project and we will bring it forward. Yeah, this was our Space Renaissance Art and Science Festival. We had in Berlin, also together with ITACCUS. Here are our sponsors. Euromon Mars, Planetarium Berlin Foundation, Rechtsanwälte Steinhäuser und Zhichang, the Support Association from the Planetarium Berlin Foundation, and also from the Aschenoid Observatory and the Major Planetarium, ITACCUS Committee, Euromon Mars, Illeweg, Space Renaissance International, and Space Renaissance Germany. We also have a German group. And I hope we will raise enough money to bring our art to Mars, because we want to put it on a USB stick, but also put them in a book of 100 pages. So if it is a musician, then we have the charts there, or yeah, and then we will lay the first edge stone for a library on Mars. So because books are also part of the culture, and I hope that when we go to Mars, if we settle on Mars, it will be in a peaceful way and not like in the left-hand side picture that there will be war or whatever. I hope we do it peacefully and in a nice way, and that we work together. So I thank you for your attention, and if you have some questions, ask me questions.